Okay. All right. So on C300, I'm also looking for sells. We caught a good sell yesterday. I'm not sure if I shared this signal, but we had a nice sell happening yesterday. This is the setup we had. So today price is broken this level here. You can see we had a little bit of consolidation on this level. So it looks like we're breaking. But before I sell, I still want to see like a baseline bounce type of setup. Still want to see price sort of retrace back into this area before I can actually execute. If we jump to H1, you see that we're actually bearish. If we jump to daily, you see that we're bearish. So I'm not really going to talk about the higher time frame since they are both confirming that we're selling. I'm only concerned with this level here. So if price can pull back up here, I'll look for a potential sell. The TP will be open or otherwise target 50 to 100 pips if you're trading C300. So that's my view for C300. C1000, I actually missed. I was out, so I missed this drop. This was the highest high. This was the order block, and price came and gave a nice rejection. You can see that rejection candle there. We had a drop. I'm still anticipating a continuation. So before I touch onto our points of interest, I just want to mention yesterday's trade. So yesterday, I'm not sure if guys caught the sell from here. I actually missed it, although I had marked it and shaded. I hope one of you caught it in the group. So when I looked at it, we're looking at a possible continuation sell here. So what ended up happening is this particular setup failed. This hit stop loss here. There was no continuation. So what I noticed today now is prices come back into this level here, retested a couple of times, broken order block. So it's more or less the same pattern which I'm looking for. I've got an impulsive move. I'm anticipating a retracement and a continuation to the downside. So in terms of buyers, I would say I'm bearish, but let's just quickly confirm the daily respecting 13 EMA. 4-hour also taking off from the 13 EMA. H1 trading below the 13, but I need a retracement here. I want to see a retracement back into 54.20, 54.19, 54.18. So if we can tap into 54.19, that's my sell limit area there. This is a sell limit area. So just be in mind, sometimes we might have a pattern and price will fail to come like they did yesterday. So same applies today. We do have a pattern for me. So this is the current point of interest. And again, be in mind, price can still decide to come back into this particular order block here or this one. So this whole area here is a point of interest. If you want to run your fib, you can still run your fib from the high to the low. Then if you run your fib, you'll notice that the points of interest also line up with what I just said. So anywhere from this top here to 38.2, which is around 58.19, that's where I'm looking forward to take sales from. This will most likely be a good sales setup if it does play out. Yesterday, I had so much confidence in this, but it didn't play out. So one other thing, if you are not confident enough about the setup, or if you're scared to enter early, what you can do is you can wait for price to create a lower high, then you locate an order block, then you can sell below the order block. So as prices are retracing up, they will create a lower high at some point. Once they create that lower high, we need to locate an order block, then we can sell when price comes below that order block. That will be the safest sell. Otherwise, if you're confident with this, you can still have one position there. Then when price breaks the order block, you can add other positions. Then we can hold to TP1 or TP2. TP1 should be around yesterday's lows. TP2, we are going to just use the fib and it will be around 53.70. That will be TP2. So C1000 looks like it will potentially pay us. For those who are already in the trade, you can hold your trade, but just anticipate this retracement, which is currently happening. But as soon as price shows us that it actually wants to drop, then we are going to jump into that trade. Right, so that's it for C1000. This is one of the main setups of the day. Going to C5, you can see we've just hit this level here. We had very ugly price action here. Small accounts, so if you sold here, it means your stop loss is right here. Even if you sold here, maybe the stop loss was here and price didn't take you out. But this price action, which was here yesterday, wasn't so appealing or wasn't so pleasing, especially for small accounts. But otherwise, I'm still with the sell bias. So let me quickly confirm. If we look at the daily, daily is right on, let me remove this. Daily is right on the 13 EMA. And looking at how yesterday's day closed, this price can go either way. Remember, I mentioned take note prices on a daily support zone. So we broke, we could potentially retest and actually continue pushing up. So here I would want us to be careful with a sell because there is no guarantee that we are dropping unless price comes below this support level. Then we can see price actually trickling all the way down. So this one we want to trade it with caution. If we jump to H4, we are bearish. H1, we are right on a point of interest. Point of interest. So where can we sell from here? So we've got a high here. The best order block would be this big one here. That will be the best order block, which I want to see price actually break before I consider any sales. You see this huge candle here, that's the order block. That's the best order block which I see. So if price can come below this zone, then I can actually confidently sell as well. So just to speak on yesterday, because yesterday I had a few questions based on the setup I had. Remember, we were looking at this level here at the top. That's number one. That was our main point of interest for a sell. Number two was if price doesn't get here, but we break 46.52, which was right here. The time we were having Zoom, I think our price was right here. So we're saying if we break this area, which was this order block here, then we can see a sell without price coming here. But if you notice, price actually came to a point of interest. So if you caught a sell from here to here, that was a success. But in here, it was a bit haphazard. It wasn't too clean. So today, more or less the same thing. Price is bouncing off this main area here. I would love them to break this order block here for me to actually consider sells. So also heavily stoking on this, but bearing in mind that H1, the daily is actually on this gray support zone on the bottom. So price could bounce and push up. So I'm just open to seeing price do anything here. But if I do see anything lining up with the sell, then I'll actually take. So I'll keep checking on C1 because C1 looks like it will give a high probability trade. So C5, if we break 46.43, 46.42, if we're breaking close below 46.43, I can consider a sell right there. Is there any other confluence which we can use? Let's see. Okay, the other confluence which we have is this 5-minute order block at the top here. So if this price, let's say from where we are, if we retrace into here, I can consider one position here. Then if we do this and do this, I can consider another position right here. So the main point of interest is also yesterday's lows. So I'm anticipating a potential flip zone right there as well. So I'm going to leave this on M5 so that I can pay attention to price right there. Then B1000, like I said, I've been anticipating buys. We got a nice buy yesterday from I think from here, if I'm not mistaken, to around about here or somewhere in here. It was a good trade because I think it was a clean 100 pips and it was pretty much fast, which was good. The price still continued to push up, but I was simply done here. So today, I feel like price has been bullish. So I still want to stick with a bullish trend here. I believe price might be creating all-time highs. Let's see. These are all-time highs. Yeah, these are all-time highs. So I'm still open to seeing more buys happening here. You can see the weekly has been bearish ever since we had this particular price action here. We've been bullish. I don't know why I'm saying bearish. We've been bullish from this level here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, including this current week of buys. If we drop to the daily, what you notice is price has been bullish since we bounced off the 13 EMA. So yesterday and the day before, strong bullish days. Price hasn't yet slowed down. If they will slow down, they will most likely slow down today. But I'll keep the bullish bias on this particular trade. So where can I buy from? I can only buy if I break. You see that red line I put on the top there. If I break that line there, I'll be all over this with a buy. And my TP will be open since we don't have any levels at the top. We're currently setting all-time highs. So if we break that red line there, I'm looking for longs. That red line is based on this candle here, as you can see. My first attempt to buy here was a loss. This is a signal I shared. Stop loss was below that level, so it took me out here. So price retraced. If we can push back up, this is now the order block. That's why I've got that red line. In case you're wondering why I'm using that zone, it's currently my order block. So it's if this is a higher low, this is the last order block, which we can all see. So we want to get something like this, and that will still fall into that flip zone setup which we have. So that's the main point of interest which I have. I'm also open to seeing price maybe come here, because if you see here late in the night, I was just watching price, just marking and seeing how they move. So let me just check. I just want to read this news item. Israel tells civilians to leave Rafah as it warns of immediate. Let me just quickly check something. I wonder what's happening in the Middle East there. So the reason I want to check that is because I actively trade oil. So if there's anything happening in the Middle East, I usually want to be up to speed with it, just to see if I can capitalize on that. So let's see. Let's see, imminent operation. Okay, I guess I'll get into this maybe after I'm done here. All right, that's fine. Okay, so my next point of interest is this demand zone there. That's just a point of it, just for reference, because if you're looking at this price today from today's lows, right? We had this order block, right? You can just draw it into the future if you want. So that order block was broken, which also made me want to buy right there. So on this impulsive move, this area here is a demand zone or an order block. So this order block actually covers this whole area, but if you go within that area, you'll find out now this is the exact price. So if we come here and bounce off, I might consider early buys somewhere here, scaling somewhere there, if it plays like that. But if price continues to come down, then I'll simply wait for them to take out today's lows, maybe bounce on the 200. Then I might consider a buy. But for now, I would say rather wait, see what price does. So I've got this first point of interest, second point of interest, then the third point of interest. That's it for me on B1000. Then B5. B5 has actually been sort of sideways. If you look at the past days, 1, 2, 3, 4 days, we have no direction there. So usually if I have no direction, I don't trade. So no direction, no trade, and unless I see something solid. For example, yesterday, did I take the trade yesterday? No, I didn't. I did not, but I realized there was an early buy. You can see price had bounced off here. We had an order block there. So you could have taken the buy either here or here. It was a quick short-term trade with this level as a target. Then in here, we had nothing. So usually, if your daily is not showing you anything solid, it means price will just be haphazard like this. If you don't know what you're doing here, you end up taking the wrong trades and losing your money. So same applies today. I do not have anything based on the daily bias. So I'll just let B5 go today. Then step index. Okay, these are my notes. I'll just remove my notes here. These are just the notes I do after I analyze. So I'm just going to remove all these items. But anyways, yesterday's step was bearish. Just to show you that the daily is powerful, right? If you look at the daily charts, this is for yesterday's trade, right? This was yesterday's candle. This was the day before yesterday. Price had bounced off the 200 EMA, and the previous day was strong bearish, meaning coming into yesterday we were bearish. For those who trade step, I'm just trying to elaborate or illustrate how you can actually trade even if you by yourself. So once you've got that daily bias, the rest of the time frames for me usually don't matter. I usually jump to each one just to confirm if you are below the 13 EMA. As long as we're below, the next thing I'm looking for is a pattern or any reason to sell. So if you notice here, from the time the price opened here, started trickling down. They came, took out the high, then they broke the order block there and retested, left another order block, retested, dropped, came back to retest. These are all areas where you can sell from. So you could have sold here, sold here, sold here, and this price just played out. So today, I'll say more or less the same thing, but the difference now is today, if you notice price, I'm still sort of above the 13 EMA. So until I come below, I cannot sell. As long as your price is above the 13 EMA on H1, it means for that particular time period, it's bullish. So there's no way I can look for sales. Even though the daily is showing me sales right now I cannot look for sales until I break this red line you see here. If price goes up, I'll let it go without me because my bias is bearish. All right, so I hope that makes sense. My only point of interest is this red line I put, which is also an order block. So I can only sell if price comes below there. If we continue being bullish for the day, that's perfect. I won't have a trade. I'll simply come back tomorrow, then see what I can use to actually formulate a bias, then look for a pattern before I execute. Then J10, I believe I took a buy earlier. Let me just check. Usually J10 and step, I rarely share signals on these assets. So my reasoning for this, why did I take that buy? Let's see. Okay, price for me, I feel like we still have to come to the top here, to that moving average, which you see the 800 MA. We've been bullish. Yes, we're bearish for the past these 2 days here. We had bearish moves. But if you notice, we've got an order block, we've got the 13 EMA. So chances of this price pushing up are, for now, they are high. So if I jump to H1 and I see that I'm above the 13 EMA, it means I simply have to look for buys. So that's why I actually took a buy. Let me see if I actually put a TP on this trade, because for now it's still very, very short term. It hasn't really moved much even. So this is just a short term trade. But again, I'm leaning on buys for now. So that's a point of interest there, a broken zone. So price can still come back, bounce off here before these buys actually play out. So this one, I would just love to pay special attention to the H1 candles. If you want to buy this, wait for them to at least pull back. If they show signs of rejection, then we can continue with the longs and maybe target this area as a TP. So the setup is not really too solid there. So for me, it's a scalp trade and you shouldn't hold it for too long. So that's it for me today. B5, I've got nothing. B1, I'm still keeping a close eye because I believe this one can pay us as well. C5, more or less the same thing. C1000, more or less the same thing. C5, I'll be waiting for a pullback into the gray zone. So my main setups for the day would be C5, C1, and B1. Those are the three main assets which I'm just stalking for today. So if price gets into my point of interest, all over C1, C5, waiting for price to break this big gray zone here. So as long as we break it, I'll be all over this trade as well. Then B1000, I'm still waiting for price to come break this level. So let me just make that line straight. Once we break 51,125, I'll be active on longs. 51,125 point of interest. So as long as we break that area, I'll be on longs. So these are my main three assets for the day. I'm looking for sells on C1. I'm looking for sells on C5. This might be short term. Like I said, we've got a daily support. Then I'm looking on longs on B1. Those are my three assets which are on my watch list for today. If there's anything else during the course of the day which I might see, I'll let you know. So my only aim today is to recover the small loss which I had on B1. That's the first aim. Then if I can cash in a few pips, then I'll call it a day on this one. So remember, Mondays, usually on currencies, I don't trade, but I usually just watch the chart. If there's something worth trading in the afternoon, we'll be active on US30 and NASDAQ. Those are the main assets we're trading. So C5 is looking promising here. Maybe we should have one position if you're not scared. If you want to have an early entry, you can have one position, current market price. Then we wait for the close below that area there before we scale in. So that's it from me, guys. I hope you guys have a very peaceful day today. Oh, excuse me. Let's see. I usually open execute the trades on my phone. So yeah. C3, I've got C5, I've got one runner. Soon as we break and close below this level here, I'm going to add another position. So hopefully we'll get a nice trade. B1 actively stoking, C1 actively stoking. That's it from me today, guys. I don't know if there's any questions based on what I've explained. Is there any questions? Okay, I'm just checking some news, fundamental news coming in here. Israel carrying out airstrikes on areas in eastern Rafah. I just want to confirm where this area is. If it affects oil, then I'll be all over oil just now. I think that's it from me today, guys. If there's anything else, I'll definitely update on the Telegram group. Apart from that, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining. Good trading.